got edge.
Today we're talking about Galarian Moltres, this diabolical, sinister black and red take on the original Moltres here. Just has that look that just screams, I've got edge. And it's also got that crazy glint in its eye that says, don't mess with me. Unless you're looking at the shiny, and then you're looking at a Moltres that just hasn't had enough sleep in the last couple of nights and far too little cups of coffee to try to keep itself awake. Yeah, I might be projecting a little bit here because that's basically me. It's the summer, it's hot, I haven't been sleeping, but hey, that's okay. We're going to get through this sleep-deprived state together. And we'll talk about Galarian Moltres. It's a Dark Flying type, which is a relatively simple typing here. It's immune to Psychic and Ground. It has 3 resistances to Dark, Ghost, and Grass. And then it has 4 weaknesses to Electric, Rock, Fairy, and Ice. As far as our one and only ability on this thing is, it's Berserk. So basically, once Moltres' HP dips under half, it gets a +1 to its special attack stat right there. And Moltres here has Bulk. It basically got the opposite treatment that Galarian Articuno did. This thing got bulkier, where Galarian Articuno became faster and more offensive. Interestingly enough, too, Galarian Moltres has the lowest speed stat out of the 3 Galarian birds. On that note, let's jump into the rest of Galarian Moltres' stats. We have 90 HP, 85 attack, 90 defense, 100 special attack, 125 special defense, and 90 speed. Now, Galarian Moltres was really strong in Generation 8 because it had Dynamax working in its favor to give it extra HP and made it a great candidate for the weakness policy. That said, we're still going to try doing a weakness policy here, but we have some other ideas as well here because we're going to take advantage of the fact that Galarian Moltres has some great bulk and look into some options such as the safety goggles as well as the assault vests. You could make a case for choice specs and make this thing a bulky special attacker as well. So let's jump into some move sets. Our first set on deck here is going to be the assault vest set, and the idea is we're going to take advantage of the fact that we have such great special defense and further augmented with an assault vest by giving it a 50% boost right there. As far as our EV spread goes, I have 188 HP points to hit 189 as our main HP stat. We then try to patch a hole in our physical defense with 76 to hit 120. We then invest heavily into our special attack with a modest nature by putting in 196 points to hit 159. And the idea here is we're going to take advantage of the fact that we'll eventually get a Berserk boost and then get a free +1 right there, which could be handy. We only need 36 points of EVs into our special defense to hit 150. With that 50% boost right there, we're sitting at 225. So between our 189 HP as well as our 225 special defense, we should be able to live a lot of hits on the special side relatively nicely, especially if we further increase that with a light screen or reflect as well. And then finally, we have 12 points into our speed to hit 112, and the idea here is we're going to outspeed base 150 mons such as Calyrex Shadow Rider as well as both forms of Electrode. Now, Calyrex Shadow Rider isn't currently allowed in Regulation D, but that said, that's an important speed number just to have in mind for when the restricted mons do come back as well. What I was thinking here is we could do a couple of different things teammate-wise with Moltres to further help it. We could run Thundurus, which is a prankster with access to Thunderwave, or Sableye, which is a prankster with access to Will-O-Wisp. If we wanted to, we could use Thunderwave to spread paralysis and then slow down the opponent, and then we could try to further boost Moltres' defensive output on the physical side by burning physical attackers, and then that way their physical damage is going to be lowered with burn. So that's a nice idea. But Moltres does have a few problems, and the main problem is it doesn't have the widest coverage move-wise. It gets access to its natural stabs in Dark and Flying, which is really nice, but then its other options are Rock, Ghost, and Normal. And to be honest, you're probably going to be looking at Ghost type coverage over Normal and Rock. Rock, it only gets Ancient Power, which is not the best move to be reliant on. It is nice that you can potentially get the Omni boost from Ancient Power, but it's not worth that risk. Here's what I'm thinking move set wise right here. We have Fiery Wrath, which is Moltres' signature move. It's basically slightly stronger than Dark Pulse. I believe Dark Pulse is only base 80, Fiery Wrath is base 90, and then it has a 20% chance to flinch both targets because this is basically spread move version of Dark Pulse, which is nice. So we have both targets here. If we wanted to go Tera Dark, we could further augment Fiery Wrath's power, which could be handy. And the nice thing too is with Moltres naturally being a dark type, it's naturally immune to Prankster moves as well, so you don't have to worry about Prankster Thunder Waves coming your way as well, Prankster Taunts as well, because we do have a setup variant later on to talk about. But keep that in mind that you're Prankster Taunt immune as well. So what I was thinking here is we do have the Fiery Wrath for some generic damage. We can use Sucker Punch as well, because basically Sucker Punch can pick off a weakened target that might be a little bit faster than Moltres since it is a priority move. And if you wanted to, Sableye and Thundurus both get access to Taunt as well, so you could do something kind of a little bit nasty where you can lock your opponent out of status moves with the Taunt, and then Moltres can just go for the Sucker Punch to try to pick them off. And the nice thing too is Sucker Punch is a dark type move as well, so if you wanted to go Tera Dark for that Fiery Wrath naturally, Sucker Punch would also get the double stab as well, so that could be really helpful. Now, as far as the flying side goes, we can run Air Slash there, which is base 75 power, not the hardest hitting option, but it is relatively reliable. If you've shut down your opponent with Thunder Wave, you could run some para-flinch chances with Air Slash, where Air Slash does have that 30% chance as well. But you could also up the damage output and go Hurricane if you wanted to, and go for that base 110 flying damage right there. And if you wanted to, you could run both Rain Dance on either Thundurus or Sableye. They both get access to it. And the nice thing too is if you wanted to, just for natural synergy as well, Thundurus as well as the other two older genies, they also get a signature move individually that becomes a sure hit move in the rain as well. So in this case, you could kind of combine Hurricane off of Moltres with Thundurus's Wild Bolt Storm for rain synergy right there, which could be rather handy. So that's a thing to keep in mind. Now, as far as our ghost type options right here, we could go Shadow Ball, which is good generic damage right there. It's base 80 power. It's got a 20% chance to lower the target's special defense one stage, which could be handy for softening them up, especially if you get that lucky special defense drop right there around the same time you get your Berserk special attack boost. But another ghost type option that I was thinking of too is you could run Hex, which would synergize rather nicely with a Prankster partner, because Hex is a base 65 ghost move right there that doubles in power when the target has a status condition. So that could be really nice. You hit that 130 once your target gets paralyzed or burned, and then you could just go from there. And plus you have the bulk on Moltres on the special side with the Assault Vest. You don't have to worry too much that way. So our second set here is going to be drastically different from the Assault Vest, because we're going to be looking at a weakness policy set. So weakness policy, for those of you who did not play Gen 8 at all or just don't know what the item does, it increases your attack and special attack 2 stages when you take a super effective move. Now the nice thing here too, if you want to guarantee that you take that super effective move in double battles, is you run a partner Pokemon with a priority move right there that is super effective. In Moltres' case, Ice is super effective, so you could run Ice Shard. If you go Tera Dark, well, now Fighting is super effective too, you could go Mach Punch, and you just go from there. As far as the EVs go, we're going to go with a Timid Nature to get a speed boosting nature, and then we're going to put 156 points there. We hit 143. At 143, we outspeed Pokemon like Dragapult and Slower that don't have any speed boosts working in their favor, which is really nice. As far as our damage output goes, we're going to go max special attack investment right there to hit 152. And then as far as the rest of our bulk goes, we have 28 points into our HP to hit 169, 52 into our defense to hit 117, and then 20 into our special defense to hit 148. Now, we do have Sucker Punch on here, which is nice because it does take advantage of the fact that the attack stat also gets boosted in addition to the special attack. So Sucker Punch could really be used to pick off a weakened target right there, especially if we go Tera Dark. But we're going to mostly be focusing on going with Fiery Wrath and Air Slash as our damaging options. So what we can do here is we can use something like, say, Cryogonal, which has a naturally low attack stat right there. We can run Ice Shard, we can run some support options on it as well. We Ice Shard our Moltres, we get that +2 into our attack and special attack, and then we go from there. If Cryogonal goes down, awesome. We can bring in a partner like, say, Grimmsnarl, then we can provide some support to Moltres with screens like, say, Light Screen and Reflect to increase our defense and special defense. We can go Scary Face if we wanted to provide some speed control. We could go Thunder Wave with Grimmsnarl if we wanted to do that instead of Scary Face. And then that way Moltres is now outspeeding targets and then hitting them with Fiery Wrath or Air Slash, which is potentially going to make our opponent flinch and then therefore disrupt them that way. So we could do that. We definitely want the Fiery Wrath and Sucker Punch, but if we wanted to as well, like I mentioned, we could go Hurricane. Hurricane. We could go Hex or Shadow Ball if we wanted to, especially if we're running Thunderwave support on a Grimmsnarl. That's definitely a viable option. We could also run a Sableye with Burn support with Will-O-Wisp. So that's what I was mainly thinking with the weakness policy right there. We self-proc, we get a screen support in after the fact, and if we do get our screens up too, the nice thing is if we also get our Berserk boost, well, now we're up to +3 into our special attack. That base 100 is looking rather scary. Our third set here is going to be the happy in-between sets 1 and 2 here, and we're going to go Nasty Plot with Safety Goggles as a support item on Moltres. So we have Fiery Wrath and Air Slash as our main 2 damaging options, but you could switch out Air Slash with Hurricane if you really wanted to, especially if you were playing on Rain. And what we're going to do here is, as far as our EVs go, we're going to be similar to the Assault Vest set. We have 188 to hit 189, 108 on a Bold Nature to hit 136 defense, then we have 156 to hit 140 special attack, and then we have 36 to hit 150. We have the 20 to hit 113, and this way now we're going to speed creep anything that's EV'd to hit that 112 benchmark by 1 point. So the idea here is Nasty Plot increases our special attack 2 stages. So now once we have that first +2, that 140 is now sitting at 280. We go Tera Dark, we hit them with Fiery Wrath. If we wanted to, for a support option here, instead of say Cryogonal, we could use a Follow Me or Rage Powder support. So in this case, Indeedee would be a really good partner here because Indeedee can just follow me away, and if you go Tera Dark, you're now grounded, meaning you could take advantage of the fact that Psychic Surge and Psychic Terrain protects you from priority moves as well. So that is a relatively nice idea that you could do synergy-wise. Now, you do have to be careful of the likes of Urshifu, so if you didn't want to go Tera Dark, if you wanted to go Tera Flying or Tera Fairy, you could definitely do that, but you would want to take one of your other move options here between Fiery Wrath or Air Slash, and then slap on Tera Blast or a reliable flying type move if you go Tera Flying. If you go, and the only reason why I'm bringing up Tera Blast is if you go Tera Fairy. If you go Tera Flying or Tera Dark, definitely keep Fiery Wrath and Air Slash. If you go Tera Fairy or any other type for that matter, slap Tera Blast on there to make sure you get the coverage. But that was the main idea here, is we have Indeedee who can just redirect attacks away with Follow Me. Once Indeedee goes down, you could bring in, say, Grimmsnarl or any other screen setter, and then get Moltres to become bulkier on the defensive side. And as Moltres takes more damage, you get the Berserk boost, as I've been preaching this entire time. So you can do that as well. And then finally, what I was thinking too, if you really wanted to, you could use a similar spread IV-wise and EV-wise, and then run, say, maybe a bulky Choice Spec set, and then that way you could go Fiery Wrath. Now you're getting a 50% boost to your special attack already. You can run Air Slash, and then that opens it up to whether or not you want to run Shadow Ball. Maybe you want to run Hurricane as well. And then from there, you can basically lock yourself into one of these 4 moves. You can Tera into a type that further gives you stab, and then just go from that. If you wanted to as well, maybe say slap the Bold Nature on here. We'll go up to 108 to hit that 138. We'll hit the 150. You could go 252 to hit the 152. You could go heavy HP investment and then slap the 4 points into your speed. You could do something like this. Maybe drop the defense 1 point so that you can hit 112. You get Tailwind in your favor. You have the Choice Specs. Fiery Wrath is going to hit really hard. Air Slash is going to hit hard. If you go Tera Flying, Hurricane is just going to nuke things, which is just amazing. So that's another idea if you wanted to with the Choice Specs. You could also technically make the same case for a Choice Scarf, just balance your EVs and for a more speed boost, and then just go from there. Anyways, guys, that's my main thoughts on Galarian Moltres. Let me know what you think down in the comments below, and I will see you there.